Perfect with the parsnips. So let's begin.
Excellent, great.
So we're going to put some oil and butter into our pot. Perfect. And we'll just melt the butter.
And you put the oil in with the butter because you have the both flavors, is that right?
Exactly, yeah.
Probably because the oil has a higher smoke point than the butter?
Yes, exactly. And it'll make it a bit lighter than using all butter.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so that's all melted. So we're going to be adding some onion. Just some nice diced onion. It doesn't have to be perfectly cut because we will be blending this soup.
And this is a very smooth, creamy soup, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, definitely. And some garlic.
Love garlic.
Ginger.
Actually, the ginger would go really nicely with the parsnips, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It does. It gives it a little extra flavor.
Yeah.
And also some celery. So we're going to cook this until softened, which will take about 3 or 4 minutes.
Okay.
So now that our onions are nice and translucent, we're going to go ahead and add the parsnips.
And like you say, Micah, those are a rough chop. You don't have to get too picky about the correct size because you're just going to blend them all up at the end anyway.
So there's an apple and pear.
Any particular kind of pear variety that you should be using, or will any pear work?
Any pear will work because we are peeling them and they're essentially very similar in flavor.
Okay.
And we'll just cook this for 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, so now that the parsnips have been cooking for a couple minutes, we're going to go ahead and add our vegetable or chicken stock. So we have some homemade chicken stock today.
And I see you brought it in mason jars. Aren't mason jars the perfect kitchen tool?
They are, because one of these is just 4 cups, so I know exactly how much I need.
Measure.
Perfect. So we're going to let this simmer for 15 to 20 minutes until the parsnips are soft. And so Leanne,
yes,
I know some things about maple syrup, and I know that the lavender chai is a light maple, but what does that mean?
Oh, well, in the beginning of the season, the sap runs light, and as the season progresses, the sap gets darker. So in the beginning of the season, you have a very light, clear syrup, and then towards the end, when it gets darker, it has a much more mapley flavor, and a lot of people actually prefer the darker mapley flavor to cook with because those flavors come out. So in the 3 dessert flavors, the vanilla, cinnamon, star anise, and the cinnamon, nutmeg, clove, and the lavender and chai, we use the light maple syrup. And in the 2 dark syrups, in the 2 savory flavors, the maple gastrique and the chipotle and lemongrass, we use the dark maple syrup. So it gives it a more mapley flavor.
Great, thanks Leanne.
Oh, you're welcome.
Great, so now the parsnips are nice and soft. So we're going to go ahead and add some heavy cream. And instead, if you didn't want to use heavy cream, you could use milk, or if you're looking for a dairy-free alternative, you could even use coconut milk.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Now some lemon juice, lemon zest.
Oh, that's going to give it a lot of really nice lemony punch to it, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Some nutmeg. And our pure infused lavender and chai. Just pour that in right there.
You just want a little bit of it, don't you? To just kind of give it a little bit of a sweetness at the end.
Definitely. So just stir to combine that.
It smells amazing, Micah.
And we're going to be blending this using an immersion blender today. So this is a really handy gadget. It's nice and small, and you just put it into the pot and it blends it. It's much easier than putting it in a large blender.
Oh yeah, less things to clean too.
That's true.
Yeah.
Great, so that's nice and creamy now. So we'll just season with some salt and pepper to taste.
Now the chicken stock was unsalted, so you have to compensate for that in your seasonings.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Stir it up, and there you go.
Oh,
beautiful soup.
And easy, perfect.
So now, Leanne, we're going to be using the pure infused lavender and chai maple syrup for another recipe. This time we're going to be making dessert because we've already had our soup.
Can't go wrong with dessert.
Exactly. So we're going to be making a panna cotta with the lavender and chai.
Ooh, I love panna cotta.
Me too. So panna cotta is a custard-like dessert, and it uses gelatin so it sets, and it's such a nice light dessert to have after a heavy meal. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding the pure infused maple to some gelatin to hydrate.
And actually, Micah, I thought when you said that about it's a great dessert to have after a heavy meal, I served this after during the holidays, after Christmas dinner, and it was so nice because you're so full, but you want a little bit of sweet dessert, and it doesn't fill you up, and it just is the perfect dessert after a heavy meal.
Great. So we're just mixing the maple syrup and gelatin together, and it will take about 5 minutes to hydrate. Great, so now that our maple syrup and gelatin have hydrated, we're going to add it to a pot. And we're also going to add some heavy cream. Perfect. And we want to heat this lightly until it reaches 135 degrees Fahrenheit.
Approximately how long will that take, Micah, to come to 135 degrees?
It should take about 7 to 10 minutes. You don't want to heat it too quickly or else the milk might spoil.
Yeah. This is a really easy dessert too. It's limited ingredients. You only have a few ingredients, and it takes basically 10 minutes.
Yeah.
The only thing is you have to let it set up, so it's going to take a little bit of time to do that, so you just have to plan.
And it honestly looks so impressive. If you whip this out at a dinner party, your guests will be wowed for sure.
Excellent. That's what we want.
Yes. And this is one that you can use just about any flavor with. So you can use the cinnamon vanilla star anise, the cinnamon clove nutmeg, pure infused maple. It's a really versatile dessert.
Oh, great.
Great, so now it's nice and cool, or it's cooler than it was before. We're just gonna pour it into a ramekin. And you don't even have to grease the ramekin.
It just pops right out, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then we'll put that in the fridge and let it set for about 4 to 6 hours or until it's cool to the touch and it doesn't stick on your finger.
And this is a perfect dessert to make, Micah, if you're entertaining and you don't want to have everything to do that day. You can easily make this the day before and let it set up, and then your dessert's all ready.
Exactly. Okay, let's get this in the fridge. Now that we have one that's all set,
oh, it's beautiful.
I know, and so easy. We're just gonna pour some maple syrup on top, some of our lavender chai pure infused.
Oh, a nice finisher at the end.
Great, that looks awesome.
It does.
And Leanne, I think you deserve a treat. Why don't you do the honor by tasting it?
I certainly will. Oh my goodness, this is amazing, Micah. So thank you so much, Chef Micah, for visiting us in the Pure Infused Maple Syrup Kitchen today and showing us how to create these great, easy recipes that we can all do at home using the lavender and chai infused maple syrup.
Pleasure.
So for these recipes and more, visit our website at www.pureinfusedmaple.ca.